delighted, like, the level of Easter egging in this episode, the Freddy Walker, which was shown in Can you talk about that? I didn't, because a lot of times, so I'm watching these shows day of, like, on a laptop, so I'm seeing it in a, small, I don't get to see it big, and I completely just missed it until we saw it here. I'm like, oh my God, you did a Freddy.
If you blink, you'll miss it. My feeling was, as we were going into the last 8 episodes, I thought, okay, we need a Jason, we need,
yes,
and we need a Leatherface, and I thought, we can't do Leatherface because we already did the Whisperers.
Right.
But we did a Freddy makeup, and we duplicated the makeup from the first original movie, and Gino Prognoli who applied Robert's makeup, and he had the sweater,
wow.
He had a glove that was all burned up,
wow.
But I had to make it just,
different enough.
Just different enough so it looked like a bird walker, but if you're smart, like our audience is,
you know it's Freddy.
Yeah. And Norman killed him.
Right in the face.
1, 2, Daryl's coming for you. What did you think of Hornsby smiling when...
What's up, fam? It's Brian Castrillo, and man, we just watched Lockdown, the first of the last episodes. And man, this is emotional. This is, we had 11 seasons, 12 years. Before I get into this kind of review of this video, I just want to go out and say thank you to the AMC Walking Dead. Thank you to Scott Gimple. Thank you to Angela Kang. Thank you to everybody that's involved in The Walking Dead, from Norman Reedus to Jeffrey Dean Morgan to, there's way too many to name. I love them all. We grew up with them, from the special effects team to just the background, the extras, everything that everybody put into this made this show what it is. And to the entire team from day one, especially for us day one fans, but we're all, even the ones that came later, we were all family. Thank you to everybody who has made this journey what it is. You have given me friends that I now call family. This is lifetime friendships that I will cherish forever. So to everybody in The Walking Dead, from makeup to hair to costumes to the actors to the directors to the producers to everybody, I just want to say thank you. This show has been amazing. It's been an amazing ride. And I know we got spin-offs coming, but to say that the last episodes of The Walking Dead are here, it's emotional. But let's get into this. And also, before I want to go in, you might be noticing this shirt. It says, "Will you vote for me?" Now, I am in this competition called The Face of Horror, and the winner of this will win $13,000. They will win a 2-night stay at Buffalo Bill's house, from the iconic house from the movie Silence of the Lambs. There will be a photo shoot with Kane Hodder, the man who played Jason Voorhees in Rue Morgue magazine, in a walk-on role to an independent role. And that especially that right there, that would be a dream for me. I've been on TV before, but I would love to have that role, and would be a big thing. And I'm hoping that I can ask you, my followers, if you could vote for me. The link will definitely be in here. It'll be in the video's description. You can vote free once every day, every 24 hours. Or if you want, you can buy what are called scare votes. You got the S and then care in parentheses, because that money all goes to families that are dealing with pediatric cancer and basically just fuck cancer. I lost my mom when I was 11 to breast cancer, so this is something that is kind of near and dear to me, and knowing that this is part of this competition that I'm in, that's another reason why I love it. but you do have the option to do that. Those votes will come to me, but the money goes to the kids. And sometimes they even do a 2-for-1. You just gotta check this out. But I want to show you this shirt. That's me. That was me during the Columbus Zombie Walk here in Columbus, Ohio. That is my friend Jason McCullum did that makeup for me, and I was in there, and I'm actually I'm even as a Funko Pop, but I had this shirt made, and there is even a QR code. You can pause there and try it, but that will go directly to my voting link. But you can always click on there. If you follow me already on Facebook, it's always pinned up there. It's in my link tree and Instagram, TikTok. I mean, you can find it here on this YouTube page. But I just want to ask if I can have your support, and please just vote for me. With that being said, let's get on to what's going on in here, because this episode, Lockdown, was amazing. In fact, not only is this amazing, but this episode is right up there with some of my favorite episodes, and even my favorite episode, which is Clear. Can run right with it. I think the actors in here acted their asses off in this episode. The writing was amazing. The pacing was amazing. The special effects, good lord, some of the new kills on this were fucking fantastic. The Greg Nicotero, just like when I think that he cannot be topped from some of the work he's done, he just goes out and just ups the game. Because some of the zombie kills in here, Walker kills, were fucking fantastic and just blew my mind. But yes, the pacing, the acting, the writing, the musical score, what fucking, and also, did you guys notice the changes in the intro? They changed a little bit of the music there and some of the scenes in there. Absolutely love the new changes, but let's get into this because I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it so much I had to go back and watch it again because I just cannot. This is just a fantastic episode, and definitely will go down in history as one of the best in the series. So they start off with throwing nostalgia in us, and we hear, Judith talking about, how the paths that our family has gone through to where they are now. And we're seeing flashbacks of Rick Grimes. We see Abraham Ford. We see Glenn. We all of our family from past that we have lost. We saw Shane, played by, of course, John Bernthal. And we hear Rick talking, and it's just the emotions are going through. And this, you guys killed this. Walking Dead, AMC, everybody involved, you guys killed it on this episode. And if this is how we're starting off with a bang like this, I can only imagine how the remaining 7 are. My goodness, just absolutely wow. But we start off at the beginning, and Maggie and the group, which is Father Gabriel. We got Daryl in there. We got Aaron, Negan's wife. I'm missing her name right now, but they're basically being hunted. But in that first room, we got Maggie and Negan. And they, they look out the window and they see Lance, with the Commonwealth guards, and he's basically telling them to kill him, hunt them all, find every avenue, find them, get rid of them. And then my favorite whole scene in that moment is Maggie is up against the wall, and they think that the guards are coming, and then all of a sudden Father Gabriel comes in, and he's like getting ready to almost shoot Maggie. Maggie's ready to shoot. Like, the pinpoint accuracy of the camera angles and the acting that had to go into that scene was, I love that scene. That just one moment was amazing. But yeah, there's a lot of things I noticed. This I had to take notes. See, like I'm looking at him here, so if I look down, I'm just kind of refreshing. But wow, so now when the group is there, they're basically talking over their plans. And one of the big things is Daryl basically suggests Negan to go to the Commonwealth because they don't know him. They don't know his face, which makes sense. And I think we've gotten to a point where Daryl and Negan can trust each other because they've been through some things. Now, clearly there's the past there, but I think Negan is at a point where he redeemed himself. Of course, what he did to Glenn is horrible, and it's hard to look past that. But I believe now that Negan is at a point where he has redeemed himself with the group, and you can see that in Daryl. Now, I'm gonna and just that back and forth with them in that moment, that whole scene, that planning was fantastic. And like I mentioned before about the changes to the music, I love the changes that they put in there. They just kind of accentuate that beginning intro that has changed over the year, and I believe in the wording is they change that a bit too, because there's blood splats in it. And one thing I gotta say is that Lance in this episode, and this was really hard because I'm gonna just give you the MVP right now. Lance is my MVP, played by Josh Hamilton. This everybody acted their ass off. This was difficult to really pick one out, but I'm gonna give the nod to Josh Hamilton. He is definitely the MVP in there because him as a villain is again chef's kiss. And there's Lance is chasing him. There's this really great scene where Negan's coming out and he's got the Whisperer mask again, and the Commonwealth guards are shooting everything, and he comes up and takes one out, kills him, gets his gun and walkie, and this is a great scene too. The filming, the camera angle is perfect on this, and after killing the Commonwealth guard, he tosses the machine gun and the walkie to Daryl, who opens the van door and pulls him up, and he's got the walkie now, so this is the way they can listen to Lance. And then this fantastic car chase. I can't again with the cinematography, just I loved it. And I was watching on Talking Dead. I guess he had a blast doing this, driving around and shooting. And then there was eventually this Daryl came and like T-boned the other Commonwealth guard so Negan could get away and go to the Commonwealth. Love that whole moment. We get into the Commonwealth and we see there's a protest about April, and of course she was the one who was left in that house, and everybody's protesting because that story was put out there, and you see signs everywhere, the Miltons are murderers, and they're protesting. They want blood. It's just pure chaos. And one of the signs that I do see in these, various protest scenes is there's a sign that says Mercer for president. And I'm going to come back to that because that I think is important. And I'm going to tell you why I feel that's important. Another important moment during this is Connie mentions that people are still missing. And of course, remember there's that Commonwealth guard who at the party, he's one of the ones who's missing. There's that whole list. But I want to mention there was a moment where they was talking about how she interviewed Pamela and how she basically got her family in trouble by what she did, and one of them was her uncle. Now, I have a theory that the uncle could be the head of the CRM. And there's just sort of hints and clues. I mean, I could be wrong, but I do believe that her uncle is still out there, and we are going to see him again without a doubt. But we won't know for a while. Now, then there's, Mercer. He sees Rosita, and he's basically telling her, I need you. And Rosita's like, this is a personal day. He's like, I need you. This chaos. And eventually he just tells her to suit up, which she says, okay. Then we get the matchup that we all needed to see, and that's Mercer with Negan, because he is interviewing Negan. And Negan being Negan, Mercer being Mercer. This was fantastic, and I could not wait for this moment. But the keys to take out of this is, he's telling Mercer about basically alluding to Lance, and then Mercer's like, to the one guard in there, go get him water, just to kick him out. And, you know, he tells him that Daryl sent him. Then we see Carol, who's protecting the kids from fake Stephanie and Calhoun, which, is it me, or does that Calhoun guy look like a kind of a smaller version of Triple H from WWE? Like, every time I see him from various angles, all I see is Triple H. But they end up trying to, you know, come up to where Carol is. Carol tells him to be quiet, and they search. You know, Carol's on the outside with a knife. Fake Stephanie almost sees her, and that whole scene is tense. But the big thing to take from that is that Calhoun guy, he finds a photo on the fridge which has RJ, basically all the kids, and Daryl's in the background, and that's going to come into play soon, because Calhoun mentions that the only name he got, because, you know, Lance was having trouble, you know, speaking, because you know, it just wasn't a reception, was that the only name he got was Dixon. So this guy Calhoun is starting to see the connection of who Daryl, you know, cares about here in the Commonwealth. And, you know, Carol is protecting them. She's hiding them. And then we see Jerry, he brings Negan to Carol. Which, that whole scene when she first sees him, just the body language and that was, because Melissa McBride and Jeffrey Dean Morgan in that scene were fantastic, and they both were amazing in this. That's why I had such a hard time choosing my MVP, which again is you know, Josh Hamilton. But we do see Pamela, who is confronted in the train station by all the people who are telling her, but then Yumiko comes out and stands up for her and basically says, because they want Sebastian, and she just says, you know, we're going to help you find who these people are, and we're going to help you. And eventually she does a good job at getting the people to dismiss, and then Pamela's people, you know, has them leave the station. Then we see Negan and Carol, and they're searching for information to figure out where Sebastian is, which they finally find him, and he's all drunk and passed out in this room, and just Negan was funny. One of the things that he said is like, you know, do you know who I am? And Negan's like, do you know who I am? And of course, us who know Negan in his past life was like, yeah, yes. But Carol basically wants to protect him. I don't know if that's the mother coming in here or she's just being, you know, the smart Carol that we know. Either way, she wants to protect him and get him to Pamela. Then, but there's a moment where Negan, back to the Negan and Carol moment, Negan ends up telling Carol about his wife and kid. And it seems like Carol just doesn't give a shit. I mean, she even says, like, you know, why are you telling me this? But I think it kind of helps to connect and kind of basically ease the tension that, you know, that's still within, a little bit of tension that's still within the group. So I think that comes into play as far as, you know, forming the friendship that where Negan's getting closer. Like I said, I do believe that he is, at least within the group, he is obtained a status where he is trusted more now. Then we see Daryl and Maggie. They're, you know, still trying to get away from Lance. And this moment right here, they go down a flight of stairs where basically Maggie goes to him and says, I want to apologize. I know Leah meant something to you, and I'm sorry. And keep in mind, these two are so close, and they go back. I mean, Daryl's been there since season 1, and Maggie came in season 2, so they have a lot of time together. That is true family right there. But Daryl goes to her, Glenn would have wanted me to look out for you or look after you. You don't ever have to say sorry, not to me, ever. So that moment, just hearing Glenn, you know, that Glenn's my favorite character throughout the whole series, and that brought kind of a moment for me. Then we see, you know, Calhoun and fake Stephanie chasing after Jerry and the kids, and a woman comes hangs her head out the window, and this is where the community's really helping them, because no one wants to help Pamela or any of their people. Maggie and then we see Maggie and the group go down into the sewers, and if The Walking Dead did not make this episode amazing, they did with this scene. Because for those who don't know, my favorite horror icon is Freddy Krueger and Robert Englund, to be precise. But Freddy Krueger, there was a walker that definitely resembled him. It kind of like his hand. I don't know if he had a glove on, but he had a sweater that definitely looked like the red and black stripes that we know. The face was definitely. I mean, in fact, that'll be the cover photo for this video. It's going to be that walker because, damn, that was amazing. Just throwing that in there, and of course Daryl took him out, which was fantastic. Let's see what else was kind of big there. Now we get back to the protesters and April's parents. They're all out there. This is kind of more of a night scene. And we've already seen the herd as it overlooks the Commonwealth. And we get to really see how big Commonwealth is. But at night, you see, these people are looking for Sebastian. They're kind of yelling. And the guards are coming in, telling them to disperse, telling them about the walkers, the herd that's coming. And they want them to get out. And you see... And keep in mind, Carol and Negan have Sebastian, and they walk him out looking like Eminem, like he's about to go to 8 Mile. And I'm like, and that's just immediately what I saw. But they walk him out, and a guy notices Sebastian and kind of tells everybody. And then Negan gets beat up a little bit, but Carol ends up escaping with him. But the Commonwealth guards end up gassing everybody, which obviously is going to piss off Yumiko. And you also see Yumiko and Magna throughout this episode that talking. While they're not together anymore, there's still that connection. There's that bond because they were that survivor group. They obviously dated, but they're kind of talking their exit strategy. And then there was a scene where, Rosita, she being the badass that she is, and her and Mercer are going to help out, take out these walkers out there. And they got this Jeep, which has, the big machine gun in the back, and she's out there. But right before that, the big moment was, Mercer saying, I need people that I can trust. And he says, Rosita's like, out here, I got you, but in there, my baby and my family comes first. And Mercer says, I respect that. Mercer is basically telling her that he would do anything to help. And you see this actually in this scene because one of his men gets taken over by the walkers. And again, with the gruesome kills, like seriously, you guys keep up in the game. The guard gets ripped in half as seriously, that one right there. Absolutely amazing. But you see Mercer, he's willing to die for his people. Why is that important? Why was that Mercer for president signed? Because I believe that we are going to see Mercer take on the iconic moment that Rick Grimes did where he spoke to the people and he basically empowered them and kind of gave his own presidential speech in the comics. But this time it's going to be Mercer. But that does lead to Rick's ultimate death, which I have a feeling, and I'm scared for Mercer that he may end up taking Rick's death. But who else would it be? It's going to hurt, but I have a feeling that we are going to lose Mercer. Then we see at the end, and they're in the sewer, and the guards are coming through, and you see this creepy ass walker, like all in wires or whatever. I don't know if it got caught there or if it was put there, but creepy as fuck. And then the walkers are coming through. You see Negan's wife and Aaron. They stab the guards down, and everybody's showing up. Maggie comes up looking badass as hell. Lance comes through, and then not Negan, but Daryl grabs him and holds him with this big ass Rambo knife. But you see a creepy ass smile, and what does that smile mean? That's going to be one of three things. Either he knows that he has Judith, because on Talking Dead, you see Daryl, he's talking to RJ, asking where Judith is, and we find out that she took off, but RJ didn't really want to tell the whole story. But so either Lance got a hold of Judith. It could mean someone that we don't really, because I theorized before this all started that someone in our group might not want to basically leave the Commonwealth because of the protection. And I thought maybe, you know, someone might change sides. So this is probably the least likely, but maybe someone on our group is kind of an informant to Lance, or this is probably the most probable. Lance has got that creepy ass smile, because in one of my videos, in one of the trailers from before we see Lance, he's going up doing his Two-Face coin flip, walking through, and I even made a video about, like, kind of a video meme about that. But something happens at Oceanside. We got, of course, Luke's over there, and something happens, and I think Lance is going to use that as leverage. Something's going to happen, maybe in the next episode or whatever, but he's got a creepy ass smile, and somehow he's going to get out of this. But yes, but what did you guys think? What was your favorite parts of this episode? To me, this episode is amazing, and it's right up there with Clear. The writing, acting, cinematography, special effects, everything. Everyone acted their asses off. The writing was like everything. I'm blown away. But yeah, again, my MVP for this episode goes out to Josh Hamilton, who plays Lance. His portrayal as a villain, like, he is amazing. Like, and this was so hard because Lauren Cohan was amazing in this episode. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was amazing. Melissa McBride, like, so many people. It was really hard to pick, but I always pick one, so that's going to Josh Hamilton, his portrayal of Lance. Him as a villain was amazing. And my shout out, as I do in all my videos, this is going out to Squawking Dead, the entire team of Squawking Dead. They are an amazing group of podcasters. You need to subscribe to them. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out specifically on their YouTube. In fact, they just recently interviewed Teo Rapp Olsen, the man who plays Sebastian. You're going to want to watch that interview, so go find them on YouTube. Check them out. Watch that interview. And just check them out. I promise you will love them. They're going to give you the information that you didn't realize that you missed or that you wanted. They're funny. They're hilarious. They're entertaining. They do game shows. They do prizes sometimes. Check them out. I promise you'll love them. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. We got 7 more to go. I know that's sad. I can't believe we only got 7 more. But yeah, love you guys. Please check out my link for the voting link for Face of Horror. Please vote for me. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Walking Dead family forever.